Hey, RPM Trade Vietnam. Back again with another live stream. Let y'all get in here. We got an interesting topic today. I'm gonna try a little harder to stay more focused inside of a topic that we're talking about. I see everything as connected, and I also think that I think you gotta consider so much seemingly outside stuff in order to validate and properly place a lot of different things. So like the connectivity between all of these things is very clear to me. So it comes out in in my live stream rants. That's why I like my edited videos. The motherfuckers be straight to the point, don't they? What up, Greenbox Media? What up, man? Long time supporter. I'd like to buy you a beer someday, bro. Um, you seem like a cool dude, man. From what I can see from here, and while I let a few people come on in. What up, Brandon? While I let a few people come in, let me say that I do appreciate all y'all. And what up, Cody? The appreciation is deep. I'm not a social media dude, man. I'm not a guy on social media chasing social media because I want to be famous and popular and shit like that. I thought that I was trying to reach out here to save the world. I thought I was out here checking the social temperature to get people to pay attention to some very critical things that I think that's going on that requires all hands on deck, a total divorce of a lot of the education that we had that's bad, a lot of the trust that we had in government and religions. You really do got to put power into the individual. If you empower the individual, you can empower the rest of the people. Um, the freedom is fake. Everything is diet freedom or freedom light. Like it's kind of because I can still kind of say what I want for the most part, and I got guns, and I know that they don't want me to have them, and they're trying to change both of those things, and I think that's way more important than being famous on YouTube because my guns are cool. Give a fuck about none of that shit. Y'all know me, right? So peace and love to the people that been there, uh, so early on to watch all of this shit because later on. Um, I wanted to be known that uh, I didn't ride no wave or I wasn't chasing no fad and no shit like that with what it was that I was doing. And I was just trying to be me, man, and do something productive with this connectivity that we have through this communication. I want to say something good, bro. I want to say something that means something, you know? What up, Angel? So let's get into it. So today, I want to talk about a comment that I got on one of my shorts, my YouTube shorts, and people see my YouTube shorts and they think, yeah, okay, another gun tuber showing off guns on the internet, trying to look cool, wants to be famous, and make a living off of showing off his guns off you. That's not what the fuck I'm doing at all. I use the YouTube shorts because you get a lot of exposure by playing that game. See, you gotta play the cookie cutter bullshit. Um, fad game with these motherfuckers just to even get attention. I got a lot of subs off of making short YouTube shorts showing guns off and talking shit. And when I talk my shit, I'm still political all over my screen and shit. And people come in and go, "That gun is trash." I go, "Did you see the caption over the video when I called the government out for being lying bitches? Did you see that part? I'm not who you think that I am, bro. I'm a whole revolutionary out this motherfucker, man. I'm not out here playing games and trying to be famous. I don't give a fuck, right? But the YouTube shorts gain some like attention, right? And with that, you get people who don't really know who I am. They think I'm the typical guy, and then they think they can just talk shit or make assumptions about something that I might not know or understand about gun rights and about what's going on. So I just made a edited video that I dropped, I think New Year's Day, about school shootings and what to do about them and what the problem is, and just an examination of watching how the country is reacting to their way to solve the school shooting problem. And it's hilarious because everybody's idiots. They're all dumb. Nobody's thinking as deeply as I am, and I can tell because in part one that I got right there in that video, that's a part one of a part two series. Um, I examine how clumsy people look when they hate the idea of guns protecting the kids, or when they like the idea that maybe teachers should have guns on school grounds to protect the kids. Then you watch how they do it; they fucked it up. So I am a gun rights activist, not a gun tuber, who does not like the Constitution, who thinks that teachers having guns is fucking stupid because they doing it stupid. But the idea is great, but they think that this is a win for gun lovers that the teachers do get to have the guns on campuses. This is in Iowa and in other states. Iowa just did it not too long ago. They said, yeah, go ahead. And then when you look around to see how they're doing it, they all fucking it up. They're idiots. So in that video that I just posted on New Year's Day, I examined that. The guy that made the comment on one of my YouTube shorts today was talking to me as if he hadn't seen that video, and I know he hadn't, that I'm a gun tuber who's showing off guns, and I haven't considered what gun ownership really means and the idea of safety, protecting children, politically, none of that. He was talking like that to me for a second, briefly, just a little bit. He wasn't even being disrespectful at all either. I like the way he brought the conversation to me. I totally respect him for it. But I told him I would make this video. I don't know if he subbed or even came back to see if I did so he can watch it. But hopefully this guy is watching, or woman, whoever it was. But I've considered all of that. I have kids, okay? So I wish that people would address these things in a different way instead of assuming the ignorance of the people that disagree with them. Because that's what he was doing, assuming my ignorance, like I haven't thought about this shit. I just made a video examining all of this shit. I'm on the corner doing an AR-15 open carry demonstration, and a school bus full of kids pulls up to the corner. What gun-free school zone is really saving the children? And would you imagine somebody wanting to hurt these kids and then also saying, I won't go to the school and do this, but I really do want to do this, but I won't violate that law. But the fucking mass murder, fucking mass shooting laws and the fucking hurting people, I'm already okay with doing that, but these other little things are going to keep him from doing what? Imagine a fucking psycho killer willing to do that to a bunch of fucking kids that ain't never did shit to him or nobody, really. They innocent kids, right? Imagine a guy feeling like he's okay with hurting them, but then stopping because the school zone, the school is a fucking gun-free zone. He's not going to stop for that. He's actually going to be empowered by that because he thinks that now, right, he's got a stress-free work environment. It's ridiculous that people are so scared that they won't stop and think, or that they will talk past you when you say stuff like this as if you just didn't hit them with a critical point. A point of contention against what it is that they're talking about. That now they got to reconcile that when I say that, don't just hear me say that, say, good point, and move on. You have to make what I said sound stupid. You got to destroy the point that I said as directly as possible to break down what it is that I'm saying, or else I'm not going to feel like we're trying to come to a resolution. You come to the table thinking what you're thinking, and you're the one that don't got the mind to change. Because whatever you say, I bet you I'll destroy it bit by bit. Word for word, what you said, I'll quote, and then I will attack it at every word to show you how it doesn't lead to any safety or logical, sensible remedies to the problems that we think that we're looking at. You don't got a remedy. You're just crying. People just cry, right? And then he mentioned Australia, how they don't got school shootings over there much. And we're going to talk about that. Because it goes way deeper than what it is that he's talking about. He asked me if my rights were worth the lives of these children. Was I choosing my rights over the lives of these children? And we're going to talk about that too, because that sounds sweet, but that's so not what it is. And no one that talks like that considers what it's going to take to move it in the other direction. As soon as I want to be a free man, and I say I haven't hurt anybody, and I refuse to be treated like a criminal about anything, because I've expressed benefit in my ownership of the firearm. And if you care about innocent lives, then you're going to have to agree with me, or we have a problem here. People are going to do that sensibly, logically, and naturally, and then it's going to be an issue. What do you do then? Y'all want gun control. What happens when the people say no? Are you going to let it go when they say no, or are you going to be willing to ignite violence on people that haven't hurt anybody so that you can get your way about the gun? See what I'm saying? You're not willing. You can't be willing to move on and do that. So since we know that that's what it is, I can end the fucking video right here and say, you're not going to do anything about it, because if you do, you're going to be the violent person going against people that haven't hurt anybody. And I don't really think y'all want to do that. Y'all just not thinking that far. Your heart is in the right place, but you don't think far enough to realize that that's who you're going to have to be. If I say, I hear you, but no thank you, I'm keeping my gun for the safety and protection of me and my kids and other kids too. I'm not going to hurt nobody. You can't treat me like I was going to hurt anybody. I'm the defender. So now, if you love the defense and the protection of the kids, you got to either agree with me or ignite a fight with me when I haven't hurt anybody. That's where we are. You see the logic? You see how it can't be beat now? It can't be beat. That's where we are. I don't even want to argue with these people anymore about this. I don't want to talk about it no more. It's not even a debate. This is crazy. Fight me in my innocence about the gun or shut up. You're going to have to fight the innocent man. That's what's going to happen. That's what it turns into. Tell them that. There's no more debating. Fight the innocent people about this shit to make yourself look like the bad guy that you kind of sound like you want to be. Maybe, I don't know. But like I said, they heart in the right place. They don't even want that beef like that. They don't think about that. They don't think that far. They don't think that in order to get the gun control from the innocent people who have guns and ain't hurt nobody, but say that they're not giving that gun up, you're going to have to fight them. You're going to have to start a fight with the innocent people in order to get what you want. That's got to be a stonewall to you. In your whole fucking moral position, you have to say, well, I don't want that either. I guess you guys have to keep those guns, man. I guess we got to ride this out. That's got to be the conclusion that you come to. Because if you step aside and say, officer, get him, you're a psycho. And now we gotta address that very specifically and what it is that I said, that you would stand by and cheer on with total expectations that law enforcement engage people who haven't hurt anybody with their guns about that gun ownership. You have to be okay with that happening, and everything that happens after that, including the officers that will lose their lives trying to do that. You got to say it was worth his life to do that because we have to march on and fight this. Are you okay with all of that violence? I don't think you are. I think y'all are so like in your feelings that you don't use your brain. And if you use your brain, you stop talking to me about the gun. You would. You stop bringing it up. You go get one yourself. That's what you do. You go get one yourself and say, damn it, let me be the sweet me. And tell any bad guy who won't listen to laws or a moral calling on his soul to not be violent. Everybody knows that shit is wrong, and people can ignore it. People can rise past that and go, violence, I want to be. And for those people, you got to say, well, I was trying to love everybody, but I will make you stop doing that shit. Somebody has to be free to do that, and I shouldn't have to be a cop or a military fucking soldier for me to have that right because it's given to us way before we ever achieved those titles. That cop deserved to be walking around with a gun on his hip, not taking no shit from no fucking body as long as he not hurting anybody. He deserved to act like that as a man before he got that badge. Y'all are weird because you had to tell me no, he didn't. Like, people don't address the things that I say and then attack them very directly to break it down. They just say, I don't like the fact that you got the gun and I don't know you, and thus I don't trust you, and you got that gun, I don't like it, and we got to change the way that goes. People just lean in that direction with their fear and their feelings. And it's ridiculous, and I can't stand by and let that happen. And it's shit like that that brought me to YouTube in the first place. I didn't give a fuck if you like my guns or not. I don't give a fuck if that's not what you would have chosen. It never dawned on me at all to even to purchase firearms or to be who it is that I am, consider how you were going to feel about the aesthetics or the manufacturer that made the firearms that I chose to buy. None of that fucking matters to me. You know, the idea of freedom, if you really respect the idea of freedom, you have to realize that there is no victim, that there is no crime. That's so in tune with the idea of freedom that as soon as people talk against gun ownership, I instantly say, you don't like the idea of people being free. And I'm not going to let you pretend that you are that kind of a person, because it's just going to prove to me that you are leading with your heart. What your heart says you feel like is what you will say, regardless on whether it's consistent or not, from one sentiment to the next, regardless of whether those are the things that you would stand on in the midst of your life being in danger. I think gun haters, if their life was in danger, let's say in a public shooting, the same guy that made this comment, he's acting like no one should have these guns. He's lost the idea of not just freedom. If I ain't hurt nobody, it shouldn't even be anybody's fucking business or concern to even try to stop me. And see, why would you put your energy over here in that, trying to stop people from? Come on, man. I know what you're trying to do, but you're looking in the wrong direction. I got remedies, bro, that y'all don't think about because y'all don't think far enough. You're all emotion, but they take their emotions and then they talk against the idea of freedom. They ignore the fact that in order to change these things, innocent people will stand up against a gun grab, and thus there will be a fight initiated against innocent people. They have to admit that and be okay with it, which totally uh, cancels all of the moral position that they thought they had in the first place when they said that they were trying to save some kids by acting like this, by reaching for the gun control. I think y'all are not smart. Please open your minds a little. Or do you real? I don't think y'all realize what you're saying. You say stuff from the heart that you feel, and you put it out there because you feel it, and then you never say, "Is this going to be beneficial to us if I take these thought processes from my heart and put them out here to try to piece them together to create a real remedy so we're not just bitching. Because when you complain without a remedy, they call that bitching. Ain't that how that goes? I didn't come on the internet to do no bitching about government, gun rights, bad guys, racism, or none of that shit. I come with all remedies. The gun is a remedy for all of that shit. Be loving you, leave people the fuck alone. Anybody who initiates the violence against you while you're in the midst of doing nothing but that is the bad guy under any circumstances whatsoever, and they all deserve the reaction that bad guys deserve. And what you wear and what ceremonies and practices and training that you've done, void of my fucking presence, that other people agreed on that I never got an opportunity to agree on or sign into contract with y'all about, not knowingly. Y'all take all of that, right? And you let that pump you up. That you call this nigga officer, lieutenant, colonel, senator, whatever the fuck, and then they try to play with people's lives, bro. And I never agreed to none of this shit. This is what we have to deal with, and y'all call this shit freedom. As soon as I start calling it out, y'all got to look at the definition of what the things are that I'm saying, and then you got to break down the definition. Y'all get personal, bro. Personal. You don't like the way it feels. As soon as I say fuck the government, you instantly imagine our country, poof, no government, poof, all gone, and the chaos that would ensue. And that's not what the fuck I meant when I said fuck government. Slowly replace them with a system that works better. And you can do this county by county, state by state, and then just branch out. It would be nice if we have some experimental land where we can go do this shit at. And then people go to the Congo, go to this and that. They free, wide open, go make a government over there. That's not what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about a transition from a failed idea of this American Constitution and a free society, transitioning that smooth, passing it on to something better. They did when they took whatever the fuck putty that they made that fuck this country out of, the blood putty, right? With the slavery and the fucking genocide and shit like that. They took all of that and then they molded something. They took something right here and molded it. And we can take what's right here and remold it. And y'all should have been expecting that we fucking do that shit. And you need a gun to do that. If the people don't have guns, you're never going to be able to step in to control or guide a government system back into a greater state of benefit for the people that it was intended to benefit in the first place. If you lose the guns, you will never be able to force that control back in that direction if ever it needs that kind of a force from so-called free people. That idea in and of itself should tell all of the fucking gun heads to say, I cannot argue with y'all anymore about the gun because that's true. We got to navigate what we got going on inside of you guys' gun ownership. Can we give you guys, keep all the guns? Can we get what we want while you keep the guns? No, everybody should think in that direction, and you can. Yes, you can. Y'all want gun control in this country? Double or triple the punishment for people that commit crimes with the AR-15. That way, people got to nominate themselves for being worthy of a higher level of scrutiny about their fucking conduct with a fucking firearm if it's a fucking AR-15, you jackass. If you want to act like that, do that to them. The ones that step out to the spotlight and say, I violated. How do you feel about my violation, my frame of mind, who it was towards and what for, and the weapon that I used to do it? You examine a criminal and then put them through that bullshit. Tell all of the people who ain't did nothing, they are free to have all of the fucking AR-15s and AKs that they want. That's how you do it. As soon as you start saying we gotta pre-punish people who ain't never did nothing to nobody, you are tweaking and you don't respect the idea of freedom. And I wish that you would just say that at any point that is relevant inside of a discussion. I wish people would just do this so that we can just keep the air clear that you don't like freedom and that you might be willing to ignite an even bigger fight if the innocent people say I won't be treated like I was guilty. So what's next? Y'all move. It's your move now. I won't be treated like that. Your move. Do something to me that makes you look like the aggressor to somebody who hasn't done anything, and then we're going to call this what it is, and then we can bang it the fuck out. Then we're just going to call it what it is because that's what it is. You can't say that it's not. This is simple, logical, honest observation about what's going on. Stop calling for the gun control if you're not okay with what's going to follow after that. You okay with that? Did you think that far? I don't think so. I don't think so. Nobody thinks. I ain't fucking using their brain at all. I'm not trading children's lives for my rights. My rights are just here, period. You can ask me to give the gun up, but are you accusing me of hurting some kids? Because if you want me to give the gun up, what kid just got spared a fucking Magnum because I don't have the gun? What kid is now going to be safe? What are you saying? Do you know what you're saying? I don't think you know what you're saying. Because I can't wrap my mind around the correlation between my gun and kids being hurt if I'm the defender. Oh, I get it. You don't know me or trust me. So that's enough for you to say you will never believe that I will be the defender. Then why do you believe so easily that I will be the attacker? Where would you get that from? At least be neutral. At least say, I don't know if you will hurt kids or save kids. I don't know. I have no reason to believe either way, and I'm kind of stuck in the middle. Why is that not your perspective? Y'all guys lean on the fear. You want to err on the side of caution and then just go blame everybody who likes the fucking firearm without realizing that you're never going to stop the criminals from owning them. You're going to empower them if they say, all of you goody two-shoe motherfuckers who don't want to be on the wrong side of these new laws now are going to give your shit up. It's going to make it easier for me. Now they know they can go to a household of a loving family guy who wants to preserve his life and freedom for his children. The only way he can honestly do that, according to new laws that would do that, is for him to give up his fucking AR-15s and not have them. Now, 3 guys who don't give a fuck about that law will have a work environment knowing that firepower cannot be matched in this household that they're going to run into, and then they run in. Right? And you know what the cops are going to think? They're not giving their AR-15s up because they know somebody out there not going to give a fuck about no gun ban. A gun ban wouldn't make the cops give their AR-15s up. They're going to keep them. And then you'd have to be like, why would you do that? We just magically waved a magic wand of a fucking government control here, and no one has an AR-15 now. No one. You know that's not going to happen. No one's going to have it when they make the law. Stop it. Your expectations are where you say stuff from the heart, but you don't have any realistic expectations that law is going to actually work smooth as fucking butter. You know, country style churn butter, smooth, right? That's what you expect. You can't even say that with a straight face. That you expect that when they write it, then boom, it's going to work too. Because the other shit ain't working. You know why? Because when people don't give a fuck, they don't care about those laws, bro. People don't be giving a fuck about laws, man. You know what people give a fuck about? Being shot on the spot and never making it to a court date during a home invasion. They never made it to court to try to get a lawyer to plead for a lesser time for snitching and cooperating and anything else. There's negotiations behind what it is that he did. If he can break into a motherfucker's house, do some harm, take some shit, and then flee to be arrested later. If he can make it that far, he can be afforded negotiations. I think that's crazy that you can scare the fuck out somebody's family like that and maybe even hurt some people. Maybe even irreversibly hurting people. And then all you got to do is escape. And now you will find yourself in negotiations about how much freedom you can obtain for the rest of your life if you can get out of jail and get some parole later on. How many years you got to wait for parole? There's negotiations. You shouldn't negotiate with a motherfucker that would break and enter into a home to hurt and or take shit. The punishment should have been whoever saw him should have been able to challenge him in their fucking living room. What are you doing here? You had to be a badass to come in here. I'm going to consider you a badass. You just scared the life into me. And yours is going to be leaking out all over my living room in front of my kids, possibly, maybe, but you're going to die in here. That's fair. That's super fair. And whatever I do, that kind of defensive thing, whatever I use to do the defensive shit, right? To save my kids in my house. Because you talking about protecting kids, right? Okay, mine. My responsibility. I'm in close proximity to them. The protection should be my responsibility. Naturally, it sounds like it. Morally, it sounds like it. An act of honest defense deserves to be performed with whatever weapon I like to be effective in doing it. And if I choose the AR-15, at what point did you say, that's where you lost me, Trey? Protecting your kids in the house and some shit, some niggas broke in the house and shit. Yeah, you're supposed to win that fight. You can be with me hand in hand, walking with me that far through the fucking scenario. And you can agree with me. And then when I say I'm gonna use an AR-15 to fucking solve that problem, and now you got a problem with that, you're a psycho. I think you should stop talking to me or anybody else with this with this aura of intelligence or moral superiority over me when you would rather me not have that? Who the fuck wouldn't want me to roll up to a fucking to roll up to a corner of a school shooting and me be the first one to see a guy running through the parking lot with an AR-15, shooting the windows out and stepping through the broken glass of the door? Who do you want to bear witness to that? A guy like me that'll probably have a banger with me, guaranteed, or a guy that's unarmed that has to call the police and then we wait for the police? Which one you think is going to save the kids faster? What if I was there and I was just like, damn, if we can pause reality right now, can I get a gun hater to grant me a wish? I need an AR-15 and a bulletproof vest. Are you willing to give me that right now, yes or no? A gun hater to say, I would wish that you didn't have that in that scenario. Push play, let it ride. A gun hater that would wish that it would just move forward to play out like that isn't trying to save the kids. If you want to save the kids, you should go, God damn it, Trey, I hope you got that motherfucking gun, nigga, go. Who not gonna wish that? A gun hater that won't wish that is crazy. Anybody with a heart and a brain that would hear me play that scenario out like that would have to say, you would make me a gun lover for the moment, bro. I would wish that you had the gun, bro. You gonna go in there for real? You would do that? You probably should then. Somebody who will go should be the one to fucking go. Go fast now, hurry. That's what you would wish, even if you hate guns. If you had that power to be the one to hand deliver it to me and then push play so that I can go in right after him to stop him. I want a gun hater to tell me not even in that situation. They want me to stay out of it. Let it be what it's gonna be. A gun hater's got to answer that like that in order for me to respect what he's trying to say. Otherwise, as soon as he go, I don't want you, then stop calling for the gun control. Conversation over. See? This is where the logic can meet your heart, where you can get what you want without fucking things up. You want the kids to be protected. You gotta, man. Come on, man. Come on. You gotta use your imagination. Y'all ain't got an expectation that that gun law is gonna work. Where would you get it from? I think you thinking with your heart. Say it out loud that you got an expectation that when they write it, it's gonna work too. You gotta be like, ooh. Because you also gotta use your brain to ask yourself, I want it to work, but what if it doesn't? What if it stops no one? What if all the good guys that give their guns up without a fight, if they wrote that law, don't they look like the people that don't want no smoke with you, no problem? Those are the people that you shouldn't have talked to, and that's ironic. The people that would give their guns up if y'all created a gun ban are the ones that you should have left alone because they comply with that shit. They really don't mean no harm. Because I think greater of the man that say, you write a fucking gun law, you can call me an outlaw. Write another one. I'm just going to start breaking them all. I'm going to stop caring because I'm defensive. I don't know why I got to be treated like, I don't want to be treated like nothing. A lot of people are going to do that. Y'all didn't consider that because y'all don't know. I think you should buy AR-15 with your sweet ass heart. That's what you should do. And then watch you be a sweet person that also owns an AR-15. Then you'll be like, oh, there's got to be more than just me acting like this. When you get the guns, you start paying attention to the laws, the history of it, and everything. You start realizing that you are now potentially in a position to be treated like a bad person when you know that you're a good person, but you just want to just go buy the AR-15. And I'm talking to the good people that act like they're morally above me for not wanting one. Do an experiment on yourself. Go buy one and still be you. And you'll be like, I don't deserve to be hurt because I have this. I'm still the same person that fucking hated the idea of this fucking thing. It's still there. I just happened to buy one and I put it in the house. Someone gifted one to me. We're doing an experiment. I would do a video. I would do a video series on me giving one of my AR-15s to a person that hates or don't have guns and hate them. And then I'm like, come on, I'm going to take you to a range. And then you're going to keep my gun in your house overnight. We can link up again in the morning. I want you to come on and do an open carry demonstration with me. I want you to carry the AR-15, knowing that you hate it, and then you can give it back to me in 24 hours. We give it up in 24 hours. And then I want you to tell me if you thought that for a second you would hurt some kids when you had that, or are you still the same fucking person that cries for the children? I bet you are. Wouldn't it be better if you cried for the children if some kids was being hurt in your close vicinity, if you had that gun and you cared that much about the kids that you went, I'll shoot that bad guy for doing that shit. Fuck him. Don't that make you feel better? Like now you acting like you love the kids. It seemed like you love, to me, if you ask me, I think you love the kids, and you'll be like, I wish I was in front of the shooter, not the kids. With my shit. So I can tell him to fuck the fuck off. Bleed out, fuck you. That's how much I don't like the school shooter. Motherfucker asked me, am I choosing my rights over kids? Boy, I think nature is telling me to be a protective person to my kids and to anybody's motherfucking kids, so much so that it fires me up. The idea of smoking a bad guy to keep me from doing some shit and risking my life in the act of doing that makes me feel like I won't even fucking mean what I say unless that shit happen. I don't even know if y'all feel me unless that shit happen. You think I'm playing. Motherfuckers think I'm playing. They'd be quick to believe that you'll be the game banger or the public shooter. But when you say that you're the hero, their imagination won't connect you with the idea of the hero to just let you rock, bro. Weird, man. Y'all crazy, bro. People don't be thinking, man. That gun law not gonna work if y'all do that. Cops ain't gonna believe it either. That's why they're not gonna let theirs go. This is it. This is irrefutable fucking deep thinking analysis that I got going on here. Irrefutable. Any gun hater would say, cops ain't gonna get their guns up if there's a total fucking gun ban. They're not gonna give it up. And I would recommend that they wouldn't do that. Why? Because you know someone's not going to care. Can't I be ready for the guy that don't care? If I'm defensive and ain't gonna hurt nobody anyway? Stop the plan. This is how you get to the freedom. Freedom might hurt a little bit. Freedom ain't guaranteed to be peaceful. That's not what freedom means. You got to stop asking for the peace because you ain't gonna never get it. The law society ain't never been able to give it to you. Look how scared you are with all these police out here. Gun laws are more constricted now than what they fucking ever really were, unless you count like that assault weapons ban in the 90s, and then they lifted that shit because it was only a temporary thing. Making it temporary tried to make it seem like it was okay for them to violate the Constitution. That's exactly what the fuck they did when they did that shit, which disqualifies them from their own gun ownership or dictating anybody else's gun ownership. But y'all don't like rules like that. Y'all don't like to examine government like that. Y'all don't like to be honest and consistent about what it is that you're dealing with on a moral basis. I have a hard time listening to or caring about government business and when they tell me stuff because I don't understand why y'all don't morally discount them from being in a position to say anything to anybody when you know that they are criminals with mass murder, blood on their hands. Why can't I point that out to get gov lovers to say, you made a good point. You might not change my mind, but goddamn, you know what? Hmm. I don't feel like you're wrong when you say shit like that, Trey. Like you don't get honest. It hurts for people to be honest when being honest means that they were wrong about something. That it might actually call for a change in their perspective, in their actions. Um, it's hard. I get it. It's not like I don't get it. I get it because I went through it myself. Y'all think I've been like this since I was 12 years old? No, you grow, you learn. Um, the very first gun that I bought, I had an opportunity. I looked right at the sign in the courthouse when I went to apply for the gun license. I looked right at the sign that says apply for concealed carry permits here. And then when she passed me the form, she asked me if I wanted one um for purchase that I can purchase firearms or one for carry because there were two different ones. And I thought that was weird that there was two different ones. But I was like, no, I was broke at the time anyway. I was like, no, give me the cheapest one. Whichever one's cheaper, I just want the gun. I don't need to carry the gun. Why would I need to carry the gun? And this is me at 20 something years old, 27 or 28 years old when I bought this thing, I think. Yeah, something like that. 26 or 27 I was when I first bought the gun. Didn't care about carrying it. And then one night I did carry it, which was technically somehow kind of illegal because there was no constitutional carry at the time, and I didn't have the actual license. I would have passed the background for the license. I just hadn't got the background check in that direction yet, but I would have passed the background check. I think it's the same check. That's why they changed all that shit in Iowa. There's like fees and all this other fucking shit, just unnecessary little money hurdles that they can get money out you for you trying to exercise a natural right that they shouldn't be able to fucking dictate anyway. It's fucking stupid and illegal of them to do. Um, but I didn't even carry the gun. And now the idea of leaving my house without carrying a gun sounds fucking stupid to me. It's dumb. It's a dumb idea, I think, to own a gun and then not carry wherever you go. You're probably the safest at your home. Having the gun there is good because you need that. Because who wants to win a shitty lottery of a home invasion? I don't give a fuck if one of them happens in your fucking city every fucking 3 years. Only one every 3 years. If you win that fucking lottery, yeah, yeah, bad life for you. Um, that's enough reason right there for me to be like, I carry the gun. I'm not trying to win that lottery. I'll let it happen and let it be me. Then I can respond. A fighting chance is good. Um, But um, you know, having a gun away from your home just seems like a really good idea because you bump up against most of your opposition, bumping into strangers, getting wrapped up in shit that ain't got nothing to do with you, or you might be traveling, things like that. Who knows what could happen? Carrying a gun away from the house seems like that's what you get it for. That's like number one. How do I protect my kids when I don't have the safety and walls and privacy and expected safety behind the walls of my fucking house? When I don't have that, what do I do if it gets carry the fucking gun away from the house, you jackass? It seems like what you're supposed to do. When I bought that gun, I didn't think or care that that was even fucking necessary. Totally changed my mind now. See, growth. The growth really fucking pops off when you buy a gun. When you own one, and you being you, the loving you, you're gonna know that there's a difference between what people are scared of and what it is that you came here to fucking represent when you thought that self-preservation was something you should pay attention to, right? When you did all of that, you was just being a good guy, man, trying to protect yourself. That's it. When you come in the game like that and you evolve, you're gonna know that that's who you are, and you shouldn't be treated like a fucking criminal because you went from a pistol to an AR-15, and you like that. It seems to be effective and cool. You still bringing the same mentality, and now you want to. Now people want to treat you some type of way because you chose that one. Yeah, man, you will see what it feels like. Walk the path, bro. Buy a gun. Buy a gun. Nature insists, you know. But there's no expectation that them laws is gonna work. So you're gonna have to address that. People should address that with me, or else cease um addressing me. Cease to address me about it if you can't like thoroughly address and navigate through the path of thought that I got to take you through to make sure that you've considered everything that I've considered. Um, no gun hater would say that they have total expectation that the gun law will work. No gun hater would say that the cops will give their shit up because they would also be comfortable. No gun hater would admit that if the cops couldn't get comfortable, that somebody would challenge them for being what police and law enforcement, the image of police and law enforcement, especially nowadays in this country, they get busy. They can look intimidating as fuck. They are super scary, bro. It's an army. I don't care what nobody say. It's an army. They literally use a retired army equipment in lots of these places, which is still a violation of some shit that they said that they wasn't gonna do. They act like if they retire it from army service because they get bigger and better stuff that it's not military equipment and material. Yeah, it is. And then you give it to police, and y'all just broke a law when y'all did that. No one knows that. I hold grudges against all of this shit because it's illegal for them to ever do that anywhere in this fucking country, and they did right in front of everybody. And when you don't know, you don't care. When I tell you, you won't apply because it calls for some responsibility for you to think on a higher level and hold your morality consistent. That if you don't like rule breakers, that you look at them and then you go, "That means you too, motherfucker. Who the fuck do you think you are? Above the law? No one likes the sound of that, and you're not that. We're going to get ya." You moral motherfuckers won't do that when you talk about fucking laws and rules and shit. You only hold that for me and only towards me because you scared of me. And I won't respect none of that shit. Y'all don't got an expectation that um, bad guys are going to stay out of gun-free zones with that bullshit. That they're going to listen to that. That if they accepted mass murder in their hearts, they're going to love the sight of a fucking gun-free zone sign. You jackass, and you know it. And if you got a brain, you can think it through and say, I can see how that would excite them. Can you agree with me when I say that that sign excites fucking people that want to come in there and shoot shit? I said that it excites them. Can you imagine what would make me say that? I almost got to talk to them like kids to be like, now repeat it back to me then. What am I trying to say when I say that? I want to hear you say it. You almost got to talk to them like kids to know that you're making a connection because I can't keep coming to different conclusions with y'all. If y'all claim that y'all love kids and y'all love justice and freedom and no one's above the law, then why ain't we coming to the same conclusion about how guilty government is and that they are not in a position to be telling anybody what to do now? It needs to fucking revamp, right? And that if you want to save the kids, the loving people better have these fucking guns, or we're going to keep on seeing the same shit that all y'all keep crying about, bitching about. Whole lot of complaining, no fucking remedy. It's called bitching. Fuck is you talking about? Brandon says schools should have a pew pew shooting curriculum. They should. I don't know why they won't. They should do that. You know what's scary? Kids coming across a gun. When you imagine kids coming across a firearm as kids, and then their curiosity taking a hold of them, people always try and paint it in the light that they find a gun in somebody's dad's fucking shoebox on the top of his fucking shelf where he thought it was safe, but the gun wasn't in the safe and the blah blah blah. That's not what the fuck. That's not the scenario that should scare you the most about that. Kids can find guns, steal guns, buy guns. The black market will provide. The most of the time where y'all see kids actually actively doing violent things with firearms a lot is sometimes comes from street shit, black markets, and all type of shit. Kids need to be taught gun safety. Period. Yeah, when kids come across guns and they don't know what to do, that's when it's scary. A kid that knows what's up can save every other kid in the room if somehow a gun comes into play. Because he'll say, when y'all are being stupid and brushing up against that point of no return, I know what it looks like when you're doing that. Other kids don't even know what it looked like. When kids don't even know what it looked like, problem. When kids know enough to be safe and to have that curiosity taken from them and satisfied about the functions of a gun and the dangers that are inherent in a gun, the curiosity goes away. My kids don't be curious about no fucking gun, bro. I openly carry a gun all the time. They always see me with my gun. My kids don't even pay no attention to my gun on my hip. They pay no attention to it. They don't talk about it or nothing. Ever. They never bring it up. It's crazy. It's almost like it's not there to them. They don't care. When they see people in public with phones on their hip, they look and go, man, I thought that was a gun. My kids are almost disappointed when they see it. Like, oh, Dad, oh, no, never mind. It's his phone. Never mind, Dad. I thought maybe he had one like you had. It was just a phone. It was an Android, too. Fuck out of here. Like, that's how it is, bro. You got to satisfy the curiosity so that it's not there anymore. And if you can go even a step further, that they become loving, defensive, and proficient um, about their handling of the firearm, then it's even better. What it is that we're mixing what it is that we want so much with the panic of seeing it fail that we won't slow down to magnify where it is that we're failing and what the best outcome will be. The best outcome in this country is not a generation of men that are unfamiliar with and untrained and unrespecting of the benefits and power of love that can be protected by a firearm. Y'all want a generation of guys that don't know nothing about none of that, and that's crazy because you think that that's going to keep them safe, but it won't, because the bad guys will just run over top of them with ease. That's not a good thing. That you want the kids to be loving and then also defenseless. The loving kids that you want to be so loving that they grow up to be responsible, loving, caring, productive members of society. You used to say that those kids should be able to tell the crazies to fuck off. You got to let them have a gun, period. And it would be silly to imagine a generation of grown ass men and women like that. It would be better to use your total loving imagination to imagine a generation full of people who know, love, and respect firearms. They are loving and they love the idea of being defensive for themselves or for other people because they don't want no bully to rock no bullshit around them. And if everybody, if 80, 90% of the population kind of walk around like, hey, I'm nobody's fucking boss, I'm nobody's fucking bodyguard, but let me tell you, man, the idea of a bully getting his shit off in front of me disturbs me, breaks my fucking heart. And I always got a gun just in case I got to tell him not to do that to me or to anybody else. And I will not play around. I just want to be left alone. If you can create a fucking generation of kids that feel like that grow up to be these people, the bad guy feel like he can't go nowhere to get his shit off. He will be rare as fuck. It should be super rare that people have the audacity to act like this. Let's work on making that mentality scarce, where it's hard to find. Y'all act like it's everywhere. Then you say, take the guns. The kids are crazy everywhere. The kids are... Man, fix them kids, stupid. Fix the kids, bro. Don't that sound better? It sounds way better. In my imagination, them having the guns to be protective and being better, loving kids that aren't lost in a sense of dependency for something as basic as protection. When I say leave me alone, I shouldn't have to outsource uh, uh, a I shouldn't have to outsource protection for my life. It sounds weird. Gun haters, people that hate the AR-15, especially, or the AK. Why do you think that? Don't let your fear put you into an arena that you don't belong in. This moral battle over good and evil does not want or need your crybaby bullshit. It's crybaby bullshit, man. You should want very much for the mental stability of the next generation to be so in tune that their gun ownership brings them to heroism and not mass shooter fucking high score fucking challenges. I think it's weird that people get like that. Can we fix that part? Are you crazy? Because you can mop the floor all day, you're not gonna fix the leaky roof because a child that has lost his mind that wants to shoot up a school, a grown person that wants to shoot up a mall, school, or whatever. Man, listen, they are incomplete people. They have lost something somewhere, and I do mean incomplete. When you call people crazy or psychotic, because when you say there's a screw loose, that's an incomplete putting together of something. You're a few fries short of a happy meal. You are lacking, lost, or something. When people are incomplete like that and crazy, you need to find what it is that they are lacking and then plug that shit into them. How about you supply all of the plugs to all of the beneficial things that build a healthy human being at, in their childhood? How about we focus heavily on that? I think we can make a generation full of geniuses. And we put the scientific muscle and financial backing into doing that very specifically. I don't mean indirectly through uplifting public school systems by giving them more money. Man, fuck that. I'm talking about a total social experiment of completely brainwashing children to be extra loving and highly intelligent. Y'all brainwash them to do other stuff. If y'all want an unnatural environment for children to help shape them, how about we go fucking deep crazy on how to psychologically tune children into a higher vibration of love, greater cognitive skills, and memory retention, so that we make a generation full of geniuses? If that's not order business number fucking one for governments instead of fucking weapons contracts to feed this fucking cycle of let's knock it down so we can have the cleaning crew come in and fucking build it up and then put a central bank in here so we can just lay that. That's what's actually happening, right? Fuck all that. Do it the other way, and then these school shootings go away. You know, um, this guy was saying school shootings are super popular in America, that they happen all the fucking time. No, they don't, bruh. These school shootings are not all over the place, and when they are, and it seems like they are, now you got to say that you completely trust the media that they're not faking these things. If you look at the video that I just dropped on New Year's Day, I highlight a school that is video recording how not only do they put on commercials and little short videos and instructional videos on how to hide from school shooters and shit in California and other places. The National Guard actually came in to help record a very realistic looking school shooting where they say they use stage blood, even a car bomb, and all types of other shit to make this school shooting look and feel as real as possible for the training. Have any of these so-called school shootings been accused of being training videos or other stages that were put off because they were so convincing that they said, tell them that this one is real? Has that ever been, are those two ideas capable of merging together to possibly manipulate you? Because you know what? As a matter of fact, Obama made it very clear and legal with some shit that he passed when he was in office that they can use propaganda and lies against you and cannot be held accountable for breaking any kind of law for lying to you. From law enforcement all the way up to government business, including these government agencies that are heavily involved in news production, like the CIA and the news production. If you put all of the fucking pieces together from all of these things, it'll come all the way down to me being a gun rights activist, pointing out that they fucked up the school shooting shit and might actually be behind it to hype up some movement in their direction for manipulating purposes. See how it's all connected? You see how all this shit connected? Crazy. I had no plans on talking about Obama in this fucking shit today, but he plays a role. Him, the Fast and Furious shit with the ATF. Come on, bro. This is why I go on tangents, because it is all connected. But let me refocus. So, am I choosing my rights over the safety of these kids? No, I'm not. I think my freedom and my right to own a gun is going to do absolutely nothing but save kids, because it has a greater chance of doing that and then zero chance of hurting any kids. That's who you're dealing with when you're dealing with me. Stop dealing with your heart. Stop blanketing things over the few that you see, that do things wrong. You should have been wishing instead of hating the gun. You should be saying, with some honest observation, that it kind of looks like criminals do what they want. And in those cases where criminals carry AR-15s, AKs, and other firearms, right, to commit acts of random violence and shit like that, in those cases where all of our love, all of our laws, nothing worked, nothing stopped this guy, you should say, then let that good guy have that AR-15 and make this shit stop. Pronto. Right away. Right now. You should be demanding that if you care about the kids and at all costs you want them kids to be protected. And the gun hate can only talk about, you can only address how sad it is that the school shootings happen. You're not going to feel any better if all the school shootings happen with a Glock, a handheld pistol that you hold with one hand like this. You wouldn't be happier if it happened, but it was that. You still be sad and upset. It'd still be a tragedy. Don't focus in on an AR-15 as a point of contention, because what you don't realize that you might be doing is helping a government propaganda machine demonize a weapon that they think would actually be used as a weapon of war, and we're at war with their asses. That's what they're worried about. That's why they call it a weapon of war. But it's not a weapon of war. If I gave my AR-15 to a fucking soldier that was out in the field somewhere in Afghanistan, Iraq, the Congo or something, they laugh at that thing. They go, dude, this is not effective enough for what we got going on out here. It's not good in the battlefield. It's not enough. You're missing some shit. That's what y'all don't understand. And if you, I think that's why I got a hard time not calling people that hate guns and they cheer for the gun control. It's hard for me to not call them stupid. Sometimes I do mean to insult, but other times I do really mean to just say that there's information that if you had it, you would apply it. And if you applied it, you would come to a different conclusion. So I had to say that what you know is almost nothing. And what you don't know is hurting your perspective right now. That's what I mean to say. When I say y'all stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. You got to open up a little bit. If you knew that about that gun and you had some professionals actually point it out to you, in full disclosure, with as much details that it took for you to understand what they were saying, you will realize that my AR-15 is not a military grade weapon. So stop using the power that you find in saying it like that to propel your point, because it sounds stupid to me. 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 And then we'll just bump heads because you think, you just don't want to say it to kids. And I'm thinking, you don't know what you're talking about. These details matter. You will change your perspective a little bit and you'll say that AR-15 is not really looking that bad. It's not. More people die from malpractice and following doctor's directions, but still having the doctor's directions be the reason why they died. Wrap all of that up into it with prescription drugs and all of that kills more people than AR-15s every year. You have to know that before you bring your heart to argue with me about an AR-15. You have to apply that. If you're not applying that, then I'm going to have to ask you to back up a little bit, get more information, and then apply it and put it into a perspective, and then argue with me about the AR-15. You cannot do it from a position of ignorance. You got to come correct. Consider that first and then come back to me and then address it and then move forward with your argument against the AR-15 if you still got one. But doctors kill more. And I'm not saying that means that it's okay that people die from the AR-15. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you care about the number of people dying, and people dying is what's drawing your attention to care and rally behind something to protect those people, you got to go look into the medical field to see why more people are dying from malpractice and even following doctors' orders that leads to their death. People don't die from the cancer, they die from the chemo. It's stuff, and then there's benefits and bonuses and incentives for them to use the chemo. And you have to not like the sound of that being like a nefarious thing that money can drive people to hide behind, because that's super evil for you to be looking right at that. And if you care about the people enough, you will look at that and say, that would be dark if that was happening right in front of me while I'm pretending to care so much. That's interesting. More people die over there. I'll go over there and fight over there because there's a higher body count over there. They need me. Go do that. You're not going to do that because you like arguing about the gun because of your heart, your emotions. You're scared of the gun. You fear the public shooter because this can affect you. You don't need cancer to be shot by the fucking public shooter. It could be anywhere. It's a boogeyman. It's the fog everywhere, right? So that's where you're going to put your heartache, because you're led by fear and not by the moral fucking position that you want me to believe you have, that you're looking for a great hill to die on when you're trying to protect a bunch of innocent people. Go over there. They need you. Fuck is you talking about? disingenuous, scary ass people who aren't as smart as they think they are, because you're obviously missing things that you need to calculate into your argument. You're missing stuff. Recalculate after you get all of the information. More people die of hands and feet than the AR-15. Go look this stuff up. I'm not just talking shit. Don't think that I'm talking shit, especially if I start talking stats and shit like that. Go look it up, because I'm not going to say it, because if see, people lead on their feelings, and then when you say shit that contradicts what they're saying, they try to discount you, saying, "Oh, you doing like I do, and you talking from your feelings," and that's probably not even true. And I can call that bullshit, and then I'll move on. It's not bullshit. More people die from hands and feet than they do from the AR-15 every year. Period. And not just the AR-15, any rifle. Hands and feet. Yeah, that's crazy. It's true. So consider that. Not saying that it's okay for people to die from the AR-15s, but I'm saying we gonna get to the freedom part, right? Because if you want to change AR-15 ownership, that implies undergoing a whole lot of shit that's clashing with your idea of bringing down the level of violence. So the argument is over, unless you want to see a bunch of people fighting these officers that you honor so much because they refuse to be treated like criminals. Unless you want to see that happen, you should probably stop talking from this virtuous fucking vantage point of being morally superior to me, because my gun and my AR-15 is going to protect my kids, and I deserve that. You can't tell me not to. I'm not choosing my rights over kids. The rights are there. If you want people to give them up, ask them, and the ones that want to give it up will give them up. The ones that don't want to give them up, dare them to ever be a jerk with it, and then know that if they are a jerk with it, somebody with a better AR-15 should probably just shoot them down. It's the only thing you can do, is to find the things where you can navigate and negotiate. When you bump up against the things that you cannot change, move forward with the best way of leaving that intact while you can still kind of get the best of what it is that you said you wanted, and then accept whatever that is at the conclusion. That's the only thing you can do. You know, when my kids want something for dinner or something for a snack or something for dessert, and we don't have it, but they really, really had their mouths ready, their taste buds were ready for a cinnamon roll, and I don't have it. I'm not going to cry about it. The best thing to do is to say, well, what is it that we do have here? Well, we do have this and this. Can I find my way to be satisfied with this for dinner when I ask for this and it's not going to happen? What can I do? Can I throw a fit? Get in trouble? Cause a scene? Do all of that shit? I could do that, but that's painful. I thought I was avoiding the pain. Okay, that's painful, so I won't do that. If I can make the best out of this for dinner instead, because this is what's being presented to me, we can do that with plans to possibly get that later. We'll work it out. Maybe I can earn some allowance or something. Go get it on my own. Take control. Get it when I say so. I like that. That's a plan. I like that. Let's move towards that. And I'll be patient. I put in the work, and then I get what it is that I want. This is what I try and show my kids, right? These people go, no, gun control, AR-15, bad, but you won't tell the cops to get their AR-15s up. Stop it. You wouldn't even you wouldn't try to tell a cop to get an AR-15 up, and they wouldn't listen to you either. They would find you to be silly, and you wouldn't even have the audacity to expect for them to, because they have a job to do, protection, right? I got a job too. Are the cops out here to protect themselves with the AR-15, or are they out here protecting the public? What is it that you think that you see? Are they protecting the public? Is that what you expect for them to do with the AR-15, is to protect the public? Well, then why can't I protect myself out in public with the AR-15 like the cop would? You'd have to say that's fair, that the AR-15 be used to protect people in public. You got to be okay with that. Only thing you don't like is that it is I with the gun. That's what you don't like. So admit it, you don't hate the guns. It's a trust thing. You don't trust me, but you trust cops. Why? You don't know him either. You don't know him either. Illusions, illusions. You see the badge and the uniform, and you assume some kind of a moral. I don't assume no moral nothing from no man about no job that he's got. As a matter of fact, if the position that he is in can afford for him a place to hide while being as bad as other people, but it'll be harder to see him and or stop him, I become even more distrusting of people. More distrusting. A guy with a gun in public that's just himself, I go, boy, you gonna die. You got no reason, no illusion to hide behind, no front to put up. to be anything other than sweet and innocent out here in public, even with your gun on your hip. Because if you're anything less than that, you're going to have to risk your life. How bad do you mean whatever it is that you're going to do when you out here with that gun, bro? Guaranteed death. A cop, on the other hand, out in public, could harass, bully, physically overdo the process of detaining and arresting a 10-year-old child. And if he's overdoing it, the costume will make people say, record him, wait for the day in court if the child can survive this encounter, because we must not move in to stop this man. That's what a cop's uniform would do. I don't care what you say. It's got a greater chance of doing that. Some people would try and jump in and stop him, I would imagine. Some people can see through the illusion enough to say, fuck your uniform, I don't give a fuck about that, and that's awesome, because it would take that mentality for somebody to move forward. A lot of people will record it and say, oh, you're going to be in trouble later. That's what they would do. If it was that same guy, even if he had a gun on his hip, he did not have no costume on. As soon as he started doing that to a 10-year-old child in public in front of everybody, people will stop him. If they saw he had a gun, they'd start looking around like, who else got a gun? Match this nigga tit for tat and get him off that child. That's what you would do. The costume makes you fall back on the morally just thing to do. No one will stop him, though. I think that's weird. The illusion carries a whole lot. I become more distrusting of people when they have something that they can hide behind like that. A cop with an AR-15 scares the shit out of me. They can manufacture consent. They can manufacture or lie about probable cause. It can lead to a fight for your life. It can lead to a whole lot once you're inside their gates. I become more distrusting of people when they can hide behind shit. A guy in public with a gun doesn't scare me, because I know that if he bug out, I'm going to shoot him and people going to cheer. If a cop bug out in public and I shoot him, I'll be fighting for the rest of my life to prove that I was supposed to do that. And many people would never believe me no matter how clear the story was. They wouldn't believe me or care, because the illusion would make them side with the cop because he's a cop and not with me because I did what was deserving. Uniform changes everything. It's scary. They would make a gun ban and then cheer for the fact that the cops were the only ones with the AR-15s now, without stopping to justify why they would need that if nobody else had it. Or without addressing the real truth. That they too believe that paper don't do nothing. People are going to fucking spaz a little bit, and for them that spaz with the AR-15 after a gun ban, you might need an AR-15 to tell them not to do that, which means that I deserve that too, and I ain't hurt nobody. No more arguing. No more arguing about the gun thing. Go get one if you don't like it. And then if I do some wild, then you do some wilder. Huh? You outdo my wild. Right? That's how it's supposed to go. That's the only solace you're going to get out of this gun ownership, because what it takes to make a change is something you shouldn't even be okay with anyway. Why are you talking to me about that like that? Ain't finna happen. Don't make no sense. Once you give them up, government will never let you get it back, and then they'll be able to force things. Vaccine, other mandates. Who knows what would happen later? If you give up your gun rights in a time of political peace to you, because your party's in office trying to make you comfortable. I don't give a fuck if you feel comfortable, you feel good. Don't give up gun rights in a time where you feel comfortable even, because you won't be able to get them back. And then what if a nightmare shows up later on for you or for your children in their lifetime? A nightmare politician says, y'all can't stop me. We just start doing weird shit to people. Maybe we get invaded by another country, and what's already in place, you guys have already been subdued. We turned all of the volume down and removed guns on all of that shit. Then later on, this country fell. We got conquered by somebody. And y'all can even do nothing to help us fucking stop them, bro. That looks like a division of the American team to tell the fucking civilians that they can't be ready for war. Calling them weapons of war is an honor to me. It just happens to not be true because it's not a weapon of war. It ain't good enough. It's not the same thing as what they take over when they go fight. They don't take my AR-15 overseas when they go fight, man. It's not the same thing. But calling it a weapon of war didn't scare me. It made me feel good. Like, yeah, that's kind of what I hoped. That if we ever get invaded or our country goes fucking crazy, then we take them to war with this gun. That's what I got it for. Y'all don't like facing that, but then you like honoring the fucking Constitution. No, you cherry picking. You cherry picking your morality and the positions you take in everything. A lot of cherry picking, putting shit together, acting like you got a complete story, the real truth, a big picture. You got nothing. I got the gun to defend myself against anybody who tries to fuck with me when I know I wasn't even trying to fuck with you and that I would have never fuck with you, that I don't deserve what you're doing, and things are getting drastic, crazy. When those moments show up, then I got the gun to act like that, and being government don't mean that you're exempt from that. I included you in the decision to buy the gun. Just like I did the home invader. You all get the same bang bang. I don't give a fuck if you got a red flag, blue flag, because you cripping, or you blood dripping. I don't give a fuck what it is. What brought you here? What flag you waving? Chinese flag, American flag. If I ain't did nothing and now my life is in danger and you got a gun, a nice one, I'm thinking, oh, nothing matters but a fucking fight right now. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm trying to survive this and I don't give a fuck about nothing. If you told me not to have this and I have it while I'm in a state of defense, I'm going to use it. Don't matter. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter, like, I don't want to play by no rules. I'm telling you, in the heat of the moment, how would you expect for that to come into play where I go, but the gun is illegal, so I put it down now? Or the gun was illegal, so I got rid of it 2 weeks ago, and now this is happening. What is y'all expectation? What do y'all think y'all see in the world? What do you think is going to happen thereafter? Governments don't get their shit back. 5 years before the Austrian guy with the fucking funny mustache ran through Europe smashing shit. 5 years before that, these different countries and different fucking regions and areas were doing funny gun control shit. Almost like they expected for him to show up later. It almost looked like, I ain't gonna get into no conspiracy theories. I'm about to end this live stream. But let me tell you, it's absolutely true that if you go back 5 years before the guy showed up, the Austrian guy that loved Germany so much with the funny mustache, that guy, before he showed up, bro, gun control started fucking popping off, man. And people felt politically comfortable to do that. There were some public shooters and everything that scared people out of their gun ownership. It's a familiar story. Familiar story. You know what happened 5 years after they start doing these things and really locking things down? Here he comes. Skip to Malou through all different parts of Europe with a gun registry, a national registry, so he knew who had them too. So he can get at them door to door before they can assemble to put up a united front against what was happening. They went door to door because door to door they're gonna get you. They outnumber you easy, but they couldn't do what the Austrian guy and his peoples did, and they were all standing, well trained, emotionally and politically ready, and all working together for the same goal of just saying, hey, we can't let people come in here and just stomp our shit out. Like, who would be expected to just lay down and let that happen? We're not going to. And we all know that, and we're all together. And here they come, let's go. That's what could have happened. But for 5 years, prepping and priming their asses for the fucking, they got softened with this gun control over there in Europe, different parts of Europe. And then the Austrian guy came through with a national registry to pick them off house by house because it's easier. You totally dominate them with the overwhelming force, and very often nobody would even fight back. The fact that happened in that way, the fact that you claim to love America, the fact that you know that it does seem like we have some fucking international enemies and some border issues, whether you agree with the border handling or not, it doesn't matter. Don't you know that there's things happening? You know that, right? Okay, then don't allow for your heart to lead you away from all of the truths that I pointed out about gun ownership and how you really obtain the freedom and what's really going on, how you really protect the kids. Don't lose sight of all of that. What the fuck would you do if we all gave up guns right now and then 5 years later, China, Russia, North Korea, Canada could fucking pick us off, and they'd be kind of rough if there was a gun ban and we abided by it and it actually worked. You gotta have the expectation that it worked. Let's say it worked. Look how soft you would make us. Why would you want to do that? There's a fucking World War II example of how that's a bad priming for the fucking that you should be able to look at since you care about history, Mr. Smart Guy. All these guys claim to be smart and honorable and loving and morally superior to me because I want to own a gun and that makes me off. And I must be dumb too. Because how would I not know better? How would you not know better? The Austrian guy with the funny mustache that everybody fucking hates so much, he ruined the fucking mustache style and the name forever. Can't nobody have it now. Neither one of them, right? That's how much he meant to the world. So you know who I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, pretty familiar with the story, huh? Oh, yeah. Did you know that they need a gun control in order to fucking make a smooth transition for him to pop that shit off? Stop asking for it. It don't even look like that's a good idea for us right now, and it's un-American. The idea that there's a fucking fight over the fucking guns with other Americans about how this shit goes is insane to me. This is why I got out here in the first place. Got a gun and started trying to get into it with the law so I don't break no laws. When I realized that the laws weren't consistent between states and the history of the laws and where it was coming from and where they was trying to take it, I went, why y'all want to treat me like that? I got this for defense. I didn't even want to carry the gun at first. Like, I tiptoed through this gun ownership as softly and as lovingly as I possibly could. And I'm still that loving, caring, protective, defensive person. I just happen to like an AR-15 because I think it's a very good tool to use to achieve those things, especially when it looks like bad guys think that it's good to achieve that bullshit. I want to match him tit for tat. I don't want to be outgunned, and he deserves to be facing an AR-15. If he thinks he's going to shoot at some kids with an AR-15, he deserves to be facing one. Put one on him. Put 7 on him. The fuck are y'all saying? How is that not your response? Because you're not going to kumbaya fucking write a fucking love song for this man to get him to not do what it is that he's doing. He's on you. He's on you. What do? You know what the best thing to do when it's just too late and you don't know what happened or where this is coming from, and he's shooting. We hear the shots. You know what the best thing is? Get an AR-15 in there right now. And it's not going to matter who's got it. Stop caring about who has the AR-15. Just wish that there was one there. And then be happy when there's fucking 40 ARs on your block because your neighbors are with the shits and they're not fucking around. Kidnapping where? On this corner? Nuh-uh. If you hear your neighbors out there, help, help, because the kids are running from or trying to fight off somebody, trying to drag them off the, 3 neighbors with AR-15 should run out on the porch. 3 men, like, who? What? Huh? You better let that child go, boy. We'll flip your whole car right now. Are you insane? That's what should happen. And bad guys should be like, bro, if that happens even a few times, we start wondering, ooh, how common is this? What the fuck is going on? Bad guys not scared that y'all gonna act like that? Tyrannical government not scared that y'all gonna act like that. They working on making sure that you can't do that to them. Y'all act like a regular AR-15 or guns in general can't be used to fight off a government that's got bombs and tanks and planes and shit. And then y'all sent all our money and fucking guns over to Ukraine and other fucking places to help them fight off a fucking government that had tanks. Because you said, hey, these things ain't the best fucking tools, but goddamn, this is going to help you make some fucking leeway on your fucking freedom. We're going to do something and do everything. We're going to do it all. All options on the table when we fight for life, liberty, and freedom and justice for the innocent people. That's what you say. That's what we said. With all of that money and guns and shit over there. And America going, we kind of knew that because we get ready like this when people think that it's peaceful because we know that nothing is ever really peaceful. We ain't never really come up with none of this shit. And U.S. government, D.C., nigga, China, Russia, Moscow, man, take cover. Nobody fuck with the freedom. That's how we are supposed to be with that. I don't understand why that doesn't sound honorable or reasonable to anybody that hates guns enough for them to say, let me readdress what it is that I think I feel about this gun thing. Because I don't know how y'all can say, Trey, I hear you. I considered all that, and I still feel like this. I don't believe you. I don't think you consider none of this shit. How you get to that same conclusion? Unbelievable. I don't believe you. I think your brain doesn't go there. I don't think you think about none of this shit. That's what the problem is, a lack of thinking. Y'all are crazy, man. I'm working on a part 2 of my video about the school shooting thing. And what I think the remedy is. The remedy is going to blow y'all minds because I use my imagination. And I said for the kids and for the protection of the children, no level of imagination is too far at what it is that you want to do is save the kids. And you want to be like, can we come up with an ironclad plan where we can be like, this will make school shootings very hard to fucking achieve. Think of something that makes them hard to even achieve. And then you win. Y'all remedy of giving the teachers the guns is stupid to me. And I know that's surprising coming from a guy like me. Because I don't think the teachers, I'm not saying that the teachers having guns are stupid, but y'all stopped right there. And I think that's dumb. I think it's a false hope to stop right there. So I'm gonna work on part 2 of that because I'm gonna give my my remedy. And it's gonna sound scary to gun haters. They're gonna think that I'm out of my fucking mind that this is what I think we need to do to curb gun school shootings. But my question to them at the end of it is going to be. But wouldn't it work though? I don't care if you think it sounds crazy. Y'all don't want to overdo it and go crazy and go kind of extreme and be like kind of too much in the idea of protecting the kids. I'm willing to be too much. I'm willing to overdo it. I say let's overdo it. I say let's overdo it if you want to protect the kids. I got a plan that's gonna be overdoing it. School shootings ain't gonna happen. I bet you. I bet you they don't. If they did, whoo, they have to take it to the next level. What they'd have to do would be like so high that you would bring the number down. Because what they would have to do to achieve it would be so crazy that you minimize the people that are crazy and capable enough to do all of what they have to do. It wouldn't even work. It'd be crazy. It'd be hard to do. That they had to go. Oh yeah, I ain't gonna even say what they had to do because I don't want to get nobody no ideas. But my idea ain't 100%, but it's better than what they did. Period. It's better than what they got going on. Austin, what up? Suave House, yeah. Bring back ignorance shaming. Yeah, I think we should be calling people stupid. I think when people have ideas that they're pushing forward with the intentions on being beneficial, but they're actually not beneficial, it's okay to call them stupid. When people aren't being beneficial with a stupid plan because they never intended that, then that's a whole nother thing. Very often when I call people stupid, I'm talking to somebody who says that they want something, but they didn't come up with the proper thing that'll actually get it. Then I go, well, then I don't know if you mean it or maybe you're just dumb. Let me help you get to what it is that you said you wanted, because that's not going to get you to that. It's two different things. Somebody would have to tell me that they don't want to protect the kids in order for me to take that in another direction. But when you say you want to protect the kids, and I do too, and then you say something, I'm gonna say that's stupid if I'm thinking that's not gonna work. So why would you say that? Don't put no money, energy, time, or your heart or nothing into that. It's gonna fall flat on you. That's stupid. I call you stupid to then move forward with helping you. It's an insult if I call you stupid and then I don't talk to you no more. But if I give you a better plan and then we get into discourse and try and find an even field of play with our hearts and our brains, then I intend to move forward into a position where we can find a camaraderie and partnership between us to actually move forward with doing this shit. Because I didn't get on the internet to complain about this shit just to be voicing my opinion to then move forward and then not do nothing. That's not what I got on here for. I'm talking shit to move and make action and then hope to make a following of some kind for something. Everybody voicing their opinion, they ain't fucking moving nothing. I'm gonna stop respecting you. It's crazy. But yeah, stay tuned for some more videos I got coming up. Part 2 of the school thing, and I want to diss uh, the Biden administration and Kamala Harris for their attempts on gun control and using celebrities to do that. Bitches want to be Meg Thee Stallion. Men want to be inside Meg Thee Stallion. So she used Meg Thee Stallion to garner some attention about some shit. She also wanted to garner some attention about gun control by using a famous rapper who had just lost somebody. If you know Gematria at all, then you can't even trust what the hell is going on behind that. And then when you realize that they're using these uh, highly potentially fucking faked and staged human sacrifices, when they take that event and say, and now that we have this also use you directly into pass you on to another tentacle of this fucking monster so that you can use what we created here. I think they created the story. What we created here, I want you to use that now to help us get gun control. And we need to get the attention of young black people. So let's get one of these Migos up here. And then Kamala Harris did the fucking interview and the fucking little campaign and the traveling around they did with the Migos after one of their asses got their ass smoked. Start talking about gun control. He didn't get smoked with an AR-15, but here go this Migos running around with Kamala Harris talking about gun control against AR-15s. And he full of shit, and I'm going to expose how he full of shit, and it's obvious that he just went and played the role, that he don't even really mean that shit. He was told to go play that role, so he stood up to say what they wanted him to say, then he went back to his life, not giving a fuck about no fucking gun control. He got friends running around with him that are actively not giving a fuck about gun control, and he encourages it. Because if he's ever a fucking street nigga before, he's still running like that now. His brother or nephew or whatever got killed, that nigga still the same nigga, but he got up there to play that front like he's with gun control and new gun laws and shit. He don't give a fuck, he's lying. Fuck him. And I got a video on all that shit too coming up. RPM Trey Vietnam and this bitch Wu Bang get a fucking gun today and stop being a pussy about it. If you got a big ass heart, if you got that gun, then you still got a big ass heart. The gun ain't gonna do nothing but be defensive. That's all it's gonna be. Am I right or am I wrong? Or are you trying to say that somehow you are psychotic and as much of a weirdo as you can possibly be, that you think yourself that if you got that AR-15 in your hands, you don't trust yourself with it? Say that. Say you don't trust yourself with an AR-15 if that's where this is really coming from. Don't project onto me. Because if you claim to be morally superior to me, that you do love the people, the kids, you're protective, you want nobody hurt with no fucking AR-15, if you really that, and your heart is right there, I bet you can go get a gun and still be that loving part of you, and thus you would be me. Incapable of that bullshit, but liking the fact that the AR-15 will be very effective in defending against that kind of shit and anything else, too, really. Why is that so hard for y'all to believe, bro? There's a gap, bro, and I think that if you buy a gun, you'll close that gap and you go, oh, this is what you meant. Yeah, because I'm still me. Looking at that gun, then imagine the fuck random people give me goosebumps, dude. Makes me feel weird. Can't even imagine how people would do that. That's so scary. It's so crazy. I despise the idea of anybody doing that so much so that I'm glad I got me an AR-15 because I'll make that motherfucker stop. That's the thought process. It's so organic. People that hate guns don't have them. And if you have them and you hate them, you're ignorant. You're scared of them. You don't train with them. You don't see the purpose in them because you don't see that that's a role that you need to play, not for a fucking revolution, not for defending your life or something. You divorce yourself from the responsibility. That's why you don't care about having a fucking gun. But don't project your shit onto me. I like the motherfucker. And I'm not going to let it go. I already got it. It's too late. I already got it. And I got more hugs than bullets. And it's way too late. And you can't make me look like nothing. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that can walk through life in this way. We got more guns than people in this fucking country. We got over 100 million gun owners in this country, but we don't got more than 100 million fucking gun crimes in a fucking day because almost all of us are sitting by fucking chilling. 65% of the gun deaths in this fucking country are self-checkout. We're going to keep it funky. You're going to keep it real around me. If you didn't know that, you got to bring that to the discussion and then have an articulate rebuttal against that fact that will bring my heart and my mind and my brain and all my thinking to one conclusion that the gun is just bad. Bring all of that if you want to convince me of that, but you're going to have to address the fact that 65% of the gun deaths in this country are self-checkout. What percentage of mass shooters are in that self-checkout line? All of them. So 100% of the mass shootings and 65% of the individual gun deaths are all a result of people wanting to self-check out. I think we got a self-checkout problem. And you're going to have to address that now because that is what the problem is. Because if I told you 65% of women, they get checked in the hospital with broken bones and bruises, were sent there in domestic violence situations, and now we have to fix this, you would address domestic violence very specifically, directly, psychologically, socially, and everything. If you were ever sincere about fixing the fact that 65% of the women that check into the hospitals are sent there by their boyfriends or husbands. You would be sincere enough in that case to be like, we got to address the men, the husbands and boyfriends directly. And you would say, let's address them. And you would say, if upping the punishment for the ones that won't listen to us after we try to pour our hearts out to them, if upping the punishment shows them that we are paying attention to the situation and we're trying to correct it, and on the back end, we're going to be waiting for those that violate anyway. If you got to do that to prove the point to the violators, also do that. Y'all would say that if we was talking about domestic violence and broken bones and 65% of women in the hospital. You would care enough to address it directly if you were sincere about fixing it. When I say this about the gun control and you don't address suicide, you're going to make me feel like you don't care about suicide. You don't want to address it. You don't think your heart and soul and your fucking hard work to save innocent people need to be there. And then I'm going to call you disingenuous about everything you have to say about gun ownership. And then I'm going to dismiss you from the conversation because you don't seem sincere. It is logically sound and morally superior to take the approach on gun control the way that I do, in lieu of what it is that your gun haters are talking about, And you can see it clearly when I magnify that shit in the analogy of the domestic violence. It's foolproof. You cannot get away from me when I do that type of shit to you. The argument is over. So now you got to go join a suicide prevention hotline and learn how to hostage negotiate these motherfuckers off of a fucking cliff, or cutting themselves or banging themselves with a fucking banger. If you care that much about the deaths, the 65%, and then the school shooter, go try and talk to these guys so that they don't become that, because it's a desire to not want to be here that drives people to do that. That's the root of what it is that you're scared of, not my AR-15 ownership. And now if you don't take what it is that I say and address it directly to make me look stupid, or take this information to better guide your heart in a better direction, since you lead with your heart and I got to respect your heart, then put your heart where it matters, or else I'm not going to believe you at all. I'm going to believe that you're a fucking puppet to the news. They've convinced you to fucking die on that hill about the AR-15 shit. And when they can't reach me, they hope you do with your crying ass. You're being used. Now, that's what I think of you. These aren't opinions. These are objective facts, and I'm reaching for a goal that I thought you wanted, and I'm reaching better than you are. And it's demonstrably true. And you're not going to be able to talk to me the way I'm talking to you to prove that everything I said is dumb. Nobody's going to be able to do that. It's foolproof. And it's not my ego. I'm surprised you don't already feel like that. It's not an ego that I think I'm right. No. I'm surprised that y'all don't feel like this. It's what all of the aggression is for. You're not stupid until I say these things and you don't know what I mean. But I think y'all know what I mean when I say this type of shit. You feel me. You hear me loud and clear. Yeah, you do. The gun hater does. All you gun haters, if you listen to me enough, you'll go, that man not wrong. He's not wrong. I think he sounds like he's way more passionate than I am. I just kind of hated the gun and thought I wanted to say something. This motherfucker is living his whole life screaming this shit with a gun on him, hugging people on the fucking, you serious? I'm way more serious than the gun haters are. They don't even be serious. They talk a little shit to me and they realize that you fucking initiated a fucking snowball effect of fucking, because this is me, bro. This is what I do. You're not talking to the average guy on YouTube, man. Get y'all shit right, man. Peace and love to y'all, man. Hopefully, you are equipped with the tools that you need to win every fight that you did not start. And if you did not start the fight, you deserve to win, no matter who the fight is, no matter how great the battle is. None of that would ever matter. In a battle for my life, if I'm being fired at and I had to return fire in defense because someone's trying to take my life and I don't even deserve this, whoever's on the other side of that is not going to get me to yield because of who they are, because I'm more focused on the action. I don't deserve this and this is happening. That would have to go for Crips, Bloods, GDs, Vice Lords, Latin Kings, the mob, government, everybody, because you all look the same. I can't even see nobody beyond my fucking muzzle flash, your muzzle flash, and all this smoke. I can't even see who you are no more. None of it matters, only the actions, because nobody's going to have the right or a free range to treat me like that when I'm not even doing anything and I don't deserve it. No one's going to get a free opportunity to do that without me firing back. And you'd have to say, that's fair, Trey. And then I have to say, that means government too. I don't care how likely you think it is. You'd have to say, I don't think that's likely. But in the case that it would happen, then that would be fair, Trey. Say that much. People don't even want to address you about the idea of a revolution. Scared. Feelings. It's weird to me. It's weird to me, man, how people will lead so much with their thought process and then claim to be smart when all I hear is your crying heart. That's not intelligence. Y'all let a fucking generation of fucking women raising you motherfuckers with no fathers around. They got y'all thinking that emotions equal intelligence all the same. No, it doesn't. You can validate your intelligence if it leads you to a greater moral disposition. Yes, they can work in tandem together, but one is not. You can't produce all of the best logic, protection, and sensibilities writing only on emotions. That's crazy. No. You can't put the cart before the horse. You got to use them to kind of validate and check in with each other as you go through your path in life. But you can't let emotions lead all of your shit. And I can tell that a lot of y'all are being led by emotional shit and nothing else. You don't know the whole story about nothing. You don't know how to apply the big picture between the America that I could have sworn that you loved when you celebrated that shit with your sparklers and your Budweiser and your hot dogs every fucking 4th of July. I thought you knew what you were saying. I got to stop giving y'all credit for knowing what the fuck y'all talking about. Because I thought we were all in agreement that if anybody fucks with this shit, DC or China, then we will light their asses the fuck up. That's not what y'all was celebrating. We on 2 different pages. I thought that's what you meant by the sparklers and the bang bangs and the fireworks. The bombs bursting in the air. That was a war to tell people to fuck off. So that we can have the fucking freedom. Hypocrites, liars, dummies, crybabies. That's it. That's it. Stay tuned for the rest of the fucking videos. I'm finna turn up on y'all asses. Can't wait till the springtime, bro. I'm finna go nuts. Woo bang, man. These open carries finna be wild. Traveling, anything.